Hola amigos, bien o no. Entonces, el tema de hoy es aeropuertos y algunas frases típicas y cómo responder con estas preguntas para ayuda en tu viaje. So, our topic today is airports, and we're going to look at some common questions we get when we go through the airports. And also, I'm going to show you a way of answering these questions so it'll help you stay calm, more in control of the conversation, and a lot less stressed. Okay? So, first thing to remember, take your time when you're answering these questions. Okay? You need to speak a bit slower so your answers are clear and you don't need to repeat them. So, a good technique to use with this, as well as challenging any words in the question that perhaps you don't understand the first time. So in that case, you can just say, I'm sorry, and then repeat the word you didn't quite catch. So in this case, one of our questions is, how long will you be staying? So if you didn't quite understand that word, you can say, I'm sorry, staying. And this will allow the other person to give you a different wording for that question. They'll reword the question, ask you it in a different way. Hopefully then you'll understand it. But the key technique with this really is to help you slow down the conversation so that the other person will begin to speak a bit slower and you have more time to think and more time to respond to the question. And also to make absolutely sure that you have heard their question correctly. Because often, particularly in an airport, it's very noisy, you're very tired, you're arriving at probably early in the morning, trying to concentrate, not easy. So don't make mistakes with the question, just repeat it back. So for instance, one of the questions they're likely to ask you is, how long will you be staying? ¿Cuál es el tiempo de tu paseo? How long will you be staying? So the best way to answer this, rather than just give your answer straight away, is to repeat the question back. So they ask you, how long will you be staying? So you should say, how long will I be staying? I will be staying 2 weeks. So by repeating the question back to them, how long will I be staying? I will be staying 2 weeks. Then you give the answer. So for every question you're given, you're really giving back 2, because you ask that you repeat the question and then you give the answer. And doing it like this gives you, I say, more time to think about your response, but also it helps you slow down the conversation. So you have more time to think and you're making sure that you've confirmed to the other person that you've clearly understood the question. Okay? So I'm going to read through briefly now just some of the other questions you're likely to get. But in your mind, think about how you would reflect that question back, how you would give that question back, and then what your answer would be. Okay? So other questions we're likely to get. What is the purpose of your visit? What is the purpose of your visit? Who are you visiting? Who are you visiting? Why are you visiting? Why are you visiting? What is your occupation? What is your occupation? Tu trabajo. Have you visited before? Have you visited before? Who paid for your ticket? Who paid for your ticket? How much money do you have on you? How much money do you have on you? So literally, how much money do you have in your pockets right now? Yeah? Do you have anything to declare? Do you have anything to declare? Did you pack this bag? Did you pack this bag? Who are you travelling with? Who are you travelling with? How often do you visit here? How often do you visit here? So these are the main questions you're likely to be asked. Or maybe they might ask in a slightly different wording, but this is the general themes of questions they're going to ask you at the airports. So remember, for any of these questions, give yourself that time to arrange your answer, but also to make sure and confirm to the other person that you've heard their question correctly. Repeat it back like we did in the example. So how long will you be staying? And you repeat it back, how long will I be staying? I will be staying 2 weeks. Yeah. Who are you travelling with? Who am I travelling with? Well, I'm travelling with my wife. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So above all, remember, stay calm, take your time. Yeah. Anything you don't understand, just respond with, I'm sorry, could you repeat that please? I'm sorry, could you repeat that please? And also, if you get further instructions for things they need you to do, and it's a result of something they're saying you've made a mistake, you can say, I'm sorry, I didn't realise, I did not realise. I'm sorry, I didn't realise. What do I need to do now? What do I need to do now? So ask them to give you more instruction as to what they need you to do. Yeah? And again, if that's not clear, ask them another question. How do I do that? How do I do that? So for example, if they say, you brought too many cigarettes into the country, you need to pay a fine. So you say, okay, well, I'm sorry, I didn't realise. What do I need to do now? And they'll say, well, you need to pay like this fine. So you say, okay, well, how do I do that? How do I do that? So we're staying calm and we're asking them to give us more information so we can finish the process with them. So we're not saying no, we're not getting more stressed in the situation, we're taking our time, but we're asking for better direction and better explanation from them. So hopefully by using some of these phrases to check the understanding and get better information from the other person, and by repeating the question back to them, give yourself a bit more time to think of your answer and also to take a bit more control of the conversation so it happens a bit slower, hopefully you should find your visit a bit less stressful. So I hope you found that useful. Please do practice with some more of these questions in the way I've shown you there in the example, and enjoy your trip. BMVR here. Cheerio for now.